Shut up and sit down.
Welcome to the Square Ring Podcast, everybody, episode 23. Today we have a very special guest, Sgt Pat Carrier. We did a fundraiser for him last night. He is a sergeant in the Dupo Police Department. He was shot in the line of duty. So, Jim, Bobby, Pat, welcome.
Yeah,
How you doing?
welcome, Pat. Before we get into the wrestling show that we did this weekend to help raise some money for you, let's get back into that unfortunate event. Can you kind of take us? Because I heard it happened after lunch. You went back to work, and then that's what happened.
Yeah, my wife, she made me lunch for dinner or lunch, and then I went home to eat. And then as soon as I got back into venue, I live in the neighboring town from Dupo. So as soon as I got back into venue, I get the call for an active shooter, and that's basically all the information I got. So when I responded, on the way there, they told me who it was. I knew who it was because I've had several law enforcement contacts with them. I've even arrested the guy several times.
Oh, my God.
He's just a bad dude. He's already been charged with murder, and he beat that case, and then he murdered another person. So I knew who I was dealing with when I responded. So when I got there on scene, they told me that, he was in a Bobcat driving southbound on the road. So I was coming in on the backside because I knew where he lived. And when I got there, I saw the Bobcat. He's about 500 yards away. I thought I got a great advantage on him, turned my car to protect myself, get out the car, and then I was waiting to engage with him. I didn't know this, but he was walking on the side of the road with the rifle. He was already out of the Bobcat. So that was about 100 yards. And I had myself at a disadvantage. And then immediately, as soon as I got out of the car, he took out my dominant hand, hit me right in the shoulder with an AR, and then it just dropped me. So laying on the ground, I call in the cavalry on my radio. And then next thing you know, he's standing right above me with the AR, and he shot me again in my shoulder.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, he tried to execute me that day.
That is.
What action did you take to scoot it to where he hit you in the shoulder again and not in the head where he was aiming?
Well, to be honest with you, I think it was my body's survival techniques that took over. I don't. When he turned around and was putting the rifle to my head, it's just like I anticipated the shot, and then it hit me right in the shoulder that went into my neck. So, it was a pretty scary day for me, but thank God that, something happened of unique forces. Somebody was with me that day.
Yeah, someone was looking down on you.
Yeah, he was trying to kill me that day. He's just a bad dude.
So, not to fast forward or anything, but what happened to him? Did he get caught?
After he shot me the second time, he stole my squad car, and when I was laying in the road, I watched him drive down the road, turn around, and then he came back to where past us where we were at. He was going back home. He drove right into the house, to his house, and then for I'd say 10, 15 minutes, my camera was still on, caught him revving up the engine, and then he gets out of the car, and then you hear a pop. and that's when he shot himself in the
He
neck.
shot himself.
Yep.
I heard some of the details, but you hear it secondhand. So I just wanted to hear it from you. I didn't even know if you knew what was going on because I'm assuming they found you and hauled you off to the hospital, right?
Yeah, when the call came out, it came out as a subject with a weapon. It didn't come out before that. He drove the Bobcat down there and he murdered a guy. Uh, I think it was an acquaintance of his, and then he was on his way back home when I engaged with him. So
Wow.
he already killed somebody before he shot me.
That's just crazy. I mean, I can see it. People in the military, how they're trained and how that's what they do. But just to kill someone in cold blood, that's just, I don't think, as big and tough guy as I claim to be, I don't think I can just do that.
No, it'd be hard to do.
Yeah. And then have enough balls to shoot a cop and steal the fucking police car. I mean,
Yeah.
you're almost, I guess at that point he knew what he was going to go home and do. But still.
Well, his mom and dad, when he murdered that one kid, I think it was 2008. His mom and dad got him out of it. Well, his dad died during the trial, but it took him 6 years to charge him with a crime. And so
Wow.
when they finally charged him, instead of murder, they charged him with, mob action. And he only had to serve 1 year in prison time. But I'll be honest with you. I know a buddy of mine who was working that night when he killed that kid. He owned a nightclub in East St. Louis, and these two kids, they were black kids. They showed up, and they were just trying to celebrate a 21st birthday party, and they denied him entry into the club. And then there was some words exchanged, and they started walking back to their car. So he gets in his truck, and he runs them over, and then he backs over him twice.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and
Just because words were exchanged. Wow.
Yeah. I mean, he's a pretty bad dude. Then there was rumor that he killed his brother. He should not have been walking, but his mom and dad was so politically connected with St. Clair County that they got him off.
Wow. So, update on you. How you feeling? What's next for you? What do you got going on?
Well, I'm in rehab recovery right now. The shoulder, it's still out of its socket. The arm is, and I just went to the doctor last week on Friday, and they told me my shoulder's kind of like a decaying tooth right now that it's going to be needing replaced. So
wow.
that would be the fourth or fifth. It'd be my fifth surgery on my arm since I got shot.
Does it feel weird with it being out of socket? I've had both my shoulders out of socket before, and one of them I didn't even know until I was actually, kind of stretching. Well, actually, someone told me they were just looking at me from afar and said, "Hey, I think your shoulder's out." And so I was like stretching, and then I felt the whole thing just pop right back in.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
it
One of those wrestling casualties.
Yeah, it does feel weird because the muscles right now are trying to reactivate, and that's what keeps it in the socket. Right now, I went through all the nerve pain. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but it feels like someone's raking nails down your arm. I got through that, but now it's the physical therapy is trying to bring that arm back into the socket and hold it there. So right now the muscles are kind of weak.
Right. Well, so after this one is this the last surgery then coming up? or you? It seems like
sorry.
it. No, go ahead.
If once I get healed, then this will be the last surgery because they'll replace the whole shoulder.
Okay,
And
so
then
they
I
want
go
you to
through,
heal up first, and then you're
yeah,
going to have the last one and have a new shoulder put in.
yeah. So when the first bullet went in, it kind of ping ponged around. It broke my scapula. It broke 2 ribs. Punctured not my lung, but the sac around my lung.
Ooh.
And then the second shot destroyed my arm and my clavicle. Luckily, I got both bullets out of me. My wife pulled the first one out of me. I was brushing my teeth one morning and I saw something shiny in my neck. And so I told her, I said, go get the tweezers. And she was just scared. She didn't want to do nothing because she thought she was going to pull the bullet out and cut my jugular. So she grabbed the tweezers and she pulled it out. It was a full 223 round intact.
Oh my
It was
God!
smashed,
They
but it was
didn't
still
take that out at
intact.
the hospital?
Huh?
They didn't take it out at the hospital?
No, I happened to just see it coming out of my neck at home. So I'm like, I want the damn thing out. So she pulled it out
Yeah.
and it fell on the floor. The thing was smashed. And what I'm kind of thankful for is what we call ghetto rounds, is what they grab at any kind of ammo and put it in the clip. And then that's what they shoot. This looked like a target round, it wasn't a hollow point or anything like that. If
Like
it
a
was,
plinker.
I probably wouldn't be here today.
Oh, I'm glad it
Wow.
was a plinker.
Yeah, that made me feel a lot better. And then the
Well,
second bullet was pushed out by uh, my scapula. It's trying to heal, and what it did was push it towards my back. And then you see, again, my wife saw some bruising around my back. She goes, that looks weird. There's a bump there too. So I went to the doctor, and he's like, yeah, that's the bullet. So another surgery, they took that out. That was
I can't believe they didn't do that all in the hospital.
well, they said that they leave them in there because if they go in there and try digging for something, they can traumatize the shoulder even more. So that's why they leave the bullet in there. They said that the body tends to protect itself by forming a casing around foreign objects that enter inside you. But
Wow.
I still got a confetti of bone and shrapnel in my shoulder right now that
Damn.
I got to deal with.
Man. So I got to ask, has your outlook on life changed?
Oh
You know,
yeah,
they say most
absolutely.
people that had that near death experience, like a lot of stuff just rolls off your shoulder now, and then you have a whole new perspective.
I say
Yeah.
it sounds like this easily could have been fatal.
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely. It could have been fatal. I start looking things different. I went through my mind so many times. What could I have done better? What could I have done? Just Monday morning quarterback myself, and um, now I'm gonna be cautious before I respond to anything. Even a simple alarm call. We get 99 alarm calls, and then you get that one alarm call that could be a potential problem. So now it's going to be a response like, "Oh, I'm gonna be more cautious."
So you already have it in your head that you're going back.
Yeah, I am. My goal was try to get back before August. The arm's not cooperating right now, but I can go back and do light duty stuff like that until they figure out what to do with me.
Well, did I hear Herb right when he said you were a detective at one point too? Or
Yeah,
you that?
in my former department, I was the lead detective for South Roxana.
Okay. Wow. I just can't believe it. I mean, the stories is crazy. I'm sad that you went through it, but I'm glad that the outcome is looking great.
Yeah.
I'm kind of honored that you're going back. To me, if I would got shot in line of duty, that would be the end of that.
Yeah.
I would find me a different career choice is what I would do.
Well, I mean,
Surprised miscarriage not making a different career choice for you.
yeah. My wife, trust me, she wants me to make a different career choice. But it's like you said it best last night. He's getting back in the fight, so that's what we're doing. And I love being a police officer. That's one of my passions. It's what I do. It's kind of like you guys wrestling. You love what you do, so if you didn't love it, you wouldn't do it no more. But
It's true.
that's
Well,
the way I am.
I tell you, I've had some close calls, on major injuries, but I've never had a gun pointed at me and a gun fired at me. So it's as much as I would say, yes, it's the same. It is totally different, sir.
Well, I can tell you this right now. I feel the same way. I never had a gun pointed at me until.
Well, so people out there probably don't know, but we kind of talked last week on our podcast about the show coming up and about you, and I hope you had a great time last night.
We had a fun time.
Yeah, was that your first wrestling experience locally, or
No.
have you come to our shows prior?
I did come to the 2 weeks ago at the Aviator Hotel. I went to that show. When I was a little boy, I used to watch wrestling at the Chase all the time, and the Von Erichs was my favorite team. I loved watching that. It was Saturday morning cartoons, and then next thing you know, is wrestling at the Chase. That's what we did all day long on a Saturday. So I knew a lot of the wrestlers and stuff like that from like the Fan Fest that Herb put on a couple weeks ago. I asked him if I could go, and he said, "Oh, absolutely," and he had me there. But yeah, I watched wrestling when I was a child, all the way up until teenager, and then big fan of like the WWE, WWF, or whatever they call it now. It's commercialized.
How was it growing up watching wrestling at the Chase and being a fan of wrestling? And since you were at the Fan Fest, I'm sure you were able to meet some of the legends. How cool was that for you?
It was awesome, to see Ted DiBiase and I didn't get to meet Bruiser Brody because he passed away, but his widow, I got to talk to her and stuff like that. It was pretty good. I kind of arrived there a little bit late, so I didn't get a chance to talk to a whole lot of them, but it was pretty nice. It was awesome.
Yep.
Yeah, Barbara is a very nice person. I've got to meet her twice with her presenting the trophy, plus a couple other times here and there. Very, very nice lady.
Yeah, she is a nice lady.
But I always talk about everyone, that's in the wrestling business, whether you're a wrestler, a referee, a promoter, someone who helps set up the ring. We all started out as fans, and either one way or another, you got hooked into a different part of the business. So it's those fan fests, to be able to meet the ones that you grew up watching. Man, that's like the highlight of my year, or anytime Herb brings in like a Kevin Sullivan like he did last night. Or, a Stan Hansen that I can watch all the Stan Hansen and Brody, when they tagged in Japan or went against each other. And those were some crazy matches. I try to live up to that.
Well, you did.
Oh, that lariat you threw last night into Big Joe Helms lives up to Stan's lariats. I'll tell you that much.
Oh, I saw him after the show, and he was holding his stomach. I'm like, yeah, I can understand why.
I really enjoyed that match. It wasn't the way I wanted to start it because he got like the best of me right from the beginning. But I think I turned that around and got him back. So as I was talking to everyone before we started recording, there was a point where we were fighting on the outside. And we were close enough to a table where I was looking at the people at the table, and they looked back, and we had a 5-second connection mentally of me say move, and they automatically got up and left their table, so I can use that, you know.
And Pat got christened. He got SICW christened.
Yeah.
Well, my wife did. She got christened with beer.
Man, the last time. Well, I think it might not have been the last time at the Belleville in the big part of the room, but one of my matches that I had there, we literally went around the building on the inside, and I took that guy, and his name was Ken Casa, and I literally beat the crap out of him all over, picked up trash cans, and actually put him in one, and then knocked him down, you know, but. I loved the show last night from top to bottom. I was able to stand in the back and kind of watch the guys go before me. And a lot of the guys that were on the card last night were guys that I'm training currently, like Joey Vanetti and Brandon Beretta. Even the Glenn Williams that Brandon Beretta went against last night. But it's always good to see the rookies that you have a hand in their training do a good job. You know, I think overall the whole card was pretty good. So
It was an awesome show.
That's awesome. And Bobby D had a good match too. I don't want to forget about Bobby D.
Our hometown hero.
Right.
Anytime I get to smack around with Canadian, I'm happy.
So besides the Von Erichs, who was your favorite guys growing up? Yeah, or even currently, if you watch the current product.
Oh well, I mean, actually, obviously, you two. I mean, that was some pretty good matches. I like the Night Train. He was pretty awesome.
The Vampire.
We call him the Vampire because there's videos of him when he first started in the wrestling, and no shit, he looks the same. I mean, it looks like Gary Jackson does not age. You know, he might have been a little skinnier when he first started, but.
Sent my buddy a YouTube clip of Gary Jackson 1994, and even he said he is exactly the same.
Wow.
Yeah. When I actually was throwing that question at you, I meant like the people out there wrestling at the Chase or the WWE. Do you currently watch the product, or do you just remember what you remember as a child growing up?
Just what I watched as a child. Like I said, when Kerry Von Erich, he passed away, that was my favorite wrestler. And, you know, the Von Erichs was the thing back then. You know,
right.
If you went against them, then it was your ass is in trouble.
You like the Texas product, huh, Pat?
Yeah. So
you like the Funks? Because they're Texas products too.
Oh yeah, Terry Funk, I liked him. Cowboy Bob Orton, you know, Hacksaw Jim Duggan. There's a lot of them. I mean, wrestling is just like it's worldwide. You can so many people that get involved.
Oh yeah,
Iron Sheik, you know, he was one of them. Superfly Jimmy Snuka, you know, stuff like people like that. And then when they started going away, and then it started getting commercial with WWE, and it was just like I didn't even want to watch it anymore. It's more like it's all about the money, and you can actually see that they were choreographing a lot of the matches, and
Mhm.
that's not what wrestling used to be. You guys had to improvise. It's kind of like I don't know what you. It's kind of like actors trying to improvise a show to make it look
Right.
better.
Well,
Yeah.
Bobby always brings up a good point. They're models and actors now, not
Yeah,
wrestlers.
right.
Acrobatics.
Yep.
That's where they get a lot of their wrestlers from now. Is they go out and grab the girls that look the prettiest, being the models, and then they grab the guys that were either the weightlifters or the ex-football players, that
Hmm.
look already jacked up, and then they try to mold them into a wrestler. A lot of wrestlers, there was a part of time when AJ Styles was getting, and he's a current wrestler, but he's been in the business at least 20, 25 years. But he had a problem with one of the wrestlers it was The Miz. The Miz started in like the real world on MTV. It was like a bunch of people from around the world get thrown into a living quarters, and then they got to learn how to live together. And he always talked about in this TV show about how he wanted to be a wrestler. Well, after that TV show ended, he kind of got a little famous out of it and was able to start working as a wrestler by it. And AJ Styles took offense to it because AJ did the independence like we are doing, did the stepping stones to reach that plateau of being in the WWE. But you had a guy like The Miz that just was kind of thrown into it. Or even now, they got those YouTubers, Jake Paul or Paul
Yep.
Logan, or where they're from YouTube land, but yet because they got so many followers, they're able to just jump right into wrestling or boxing or whatever idea they come up with to make some sort of money nowadays. And it's just crazy.
Not just jump in, but jump into a pay-per-view main event.
Yeah.
Like at least Miz was at least given a spot and Tough Enough, and then he had to go through there and work his way up from there. Still not as bad, but like Logan Paul was main event at a pay-per-view right away.
Right, because of his YouTube.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the kind of stuff I don't like.
Yeah, because you got some of us. We always say the wrestling is you got to be seen by the right person at the right time, and anyone could get picked to go to the big shows. But some of us, have worked so long, like throughout Gary Jackson's name again. Gary was able to work for the WWE. He was able to work for WCW. He was able to work for the NWA. He just wasn't seen at the right time, or wasn't liked by the right person, and so he never reached the grand stage of being able to be a main eventer at a WWE or a mainstay at a WCW. And it's kind of crazy, and that twerks with people that like Paul Logan, who can just jump in there and already get that status that people's worked 20 years to get. But I don't know. I know it's a way for WWE to make some quick money, and having a famous person thrown on there, and people wanting that person to get his butt handed to him, or vice versa. But it just drives me nuts a little bit, because if I can list off all the injuries that I've had wrestling, it astonishes some people,
Yeah. Well, it used to be that way. Guys like you guys were out there grinding and doing the work, and you get your shot. And now it's like just because you're famous on one show, you get the head of the line, and that's one of the things I didn't like.
Yeah.
That's why I stopped kind of watching wrestling.
Well, I'm glad you're able to. I'm glad we were show for you Saturday. I'm glad you have fun. Did the whole family have fun? You have
Oh
a
yeah,
son, don't you?
I'm sorry.
You have a son, don't you? Or there was a little kid with you.
My grandson, he was
Oh,
there,
okay.
and I can tell you right now, you got a fan now because he was enjoying every bit of the show.
Well,
That's
we're every
awesome.
month. Bring them on back.
Oh yeah,
Next
he probably will want to come back. He's already asked me when we can. So
next Saturday, I want to see him with a red mohawk and a cowboy hat.
red mohawk, like Bobby D, huh?
That's awesome. Um, so, did we? Were we able to make a dent on your medical bills?
Oh
Or
yeah, absolutely. The medical bills are covered by workman's comp, but the problem that I'm facing is it's an unexpected expense getting back and forth to all these doctors. I'm actually going to a doctor a day. It's either an ortho doctor or it's a primary doctor or it's physical therapy or, my counselor for my head issues. It's a lot of mileage on my car and, gas and stuff. So yeah, it makes a dent in that perspective.
yeah,
An unexpensive, unexpected expenses that I'm dealing with like that does help me out. So I appreciate everything you guys have done for me.
yeah. Plus, workman's comp, they don't pay you 100% payout. I've been on workman's comp before, and it's always a percentage of your paycheck. So you're not getting the money that you normally get. So
Yeah,
yeah, so I'm glad that's helping you out. That's nice.
And we want everybody, we're going to be posting a link where you guys can, even if everybody gave $5, it would help them. You're just going to click the link below, give $5, $10. I mean, Pat
Yeah,
put his life on the line to protect his community against somebody he already knew he was going to have a fight with. I have been in that situation. It ended out a little bit different. But when you know you're going into a fight and you still go,
yep, gut check time.
yep.
well, yeah. I didn't want to take a whole lot of your time, but I just wanted to bring you on tonight and kind of tell your story a little bit and talk about the show that we put on for you Saturday. I'm glad you had a great time. Hopefully, your grandson will drag you back out to more shows.
I'll be there.
Um,
I will.
all right. Um, well, then, I think, do you want to stay on a little bit longer? We're going to go over the matches. Or if you want to, you can hop off. It don't matter to me. It don't matter to us.
Oh,
Yeah, you can
absolutely.
give
I
yeah,
enjoy
you can
this.
give your perspective of the matches and how Bobby, you know, I don't know, Jim, for a minute there, I was getting concerned that I didn't know how that one was going to end because you were not doing well at the beginning.
He looked like he was holding his own through that whole match.
Well, so last weekend we were actually taking like a poll on who we thought was going to win what matches, and we'll just go over to see who was the winner of them. The one match that was not, and Nate's already pointing to him. The one match that was not posted that happened was Waco versus Jason Breed.
Oh, I
Waco
voted
was,
for Breed.
huh?
I voted for Breed.
Oh, you voted. That match wasn't posted, so you can't even vote for that one. Yeah, so that one I guess was just signed that day or the day before. Now Waco used to be my tag team partner because back in the day I used to wear a mask and wear the army fatigues, and that was the Big Texan. We were part of a group called the Guerrilla Warfare, and we were basically for hire for anyone who wanted to pay us. We would go in and defeat whatever team or whatever single person there was. But that was my old guy. We eventually broke it off between me and Waco, so Waco's gone his separate ways, and I've of course changed up my gear and my personality, I guess you would say.
Let's say you've had a little more success than he has.
We had Axe Allward versus Joe Vanetti. Let's see here.
I think Bobby and I got that one right. We took Axe.
Yes. Yep. I chose Joey because Joey, like I said, is one of my trainees, and I was hoping for the best. And he was doing pretty good. I watched that match. I was pretty impressed with him. Joey, it's only been a year in the business, or it's been a year since he's graduated from the academy, but we still train him every week. But he's definitely getting better. I was hoping for a bigger show out last night for him, the fans were behind Joey, but I was kind of hoping his confidence was a little bit more in that match. There was parts of that match where you can see that he was all bowed up and like just mentally drained. And I actually terrorize my students every now and then. We're like at any given time we might have 10 or 15 students at a training time, and I'll make one person get in the ring and wrestle all 15 of them, not all at the same time, but they'll wrestle each other, and then after 5 minutes that person leaves and the next one steps in, but there's that one person that stays. And the last time I did it to Joey. So I had Joey wrestle. I think he probably wrestled 7 people that night without no breaks. They wrestled. Either he pinned the guy or that guy pinned him, but the other guy left and Joey stayed in for the next round. And I do that mainly because it's so different wrestling one person to the next. Because one time you have a guy that you have to look up to, and the next time it's a shorter guy that you got to deal with. And they wrestle you totally different. So without giving him a time to think, I just kept throwing people in there on him. I think it works wonders for people, but what were you going to say?
Have you wore him out for his match?
This was a couple months ago. This was to get prepared for it. But I think Joey did a great job. It's just that Axe has been in the business over 20 years. That get-up he was wearing yesterday was probably his get-up from the 80s when he first started. So, wow. And he is a throwback to the 80s wrestling.
You saying you don't like pastels?
It was fine when it was like the Ultimate Warrior, and
I say he's the '80s rock music too. That's why I like Axe so much. Like, if you just get on that guy's Facebook, it's hilarious all the time. He does have terrible taste in professional football teams, though.
Oh yeah,
yeah, he's an Eagles fan, so.
Oh yeah, no, that's
nobody's
terrible.
Perfect.
Nobody's perfect.
Well, we usually have a little exchanging of words because I'm a Cowboys fan, same division.
Like I said, nobody's perfect.
Pat, do you have a football team you watch?
Chiefs all the way, baby.
Chiefs? Oh, there you go.
Well, I mean, I support the hometown teams, and the Rams were they were my team. But as soon as they moved away, had to get another one. So Chiefs, they're the closest one. If I want to go to the game, I can drive about 4 hours to get.
That's true. So, and these are not in the right order, I can tell you that. But we had Curtis Wild versus Kowalski. And
you missed on that one, Bobby.
Yeah. So me and Nate had Kowalski. I fought Kowalski before. He's just a big guy, and I think what I had last week, I had said that Curtis Wild normally comes out with his wife, who's like his valet, and she has a habit of interfering sometimes or getting involved in the matches. But she recently had back surgery, literally earlier last week, and I knew she wasn't going to beat her this weekend. So I was like, he's not going to be used to that. It's him out there by himself versus a 400-pound guy. There ain't no way he's going to be able to beat him.
And it actually did. It was on his mind the whole time. I talked to him, an hour before the match, and that was the big thing. She's not with me. She's not with me. So it did affect him mentally, and it affected the way he put into the match.
Kowalski, he was a shaved head.
Kowalski was
the mountain of a man.
The 400-pound guy with suspenders.
Yeah.
Do you remember that match?
Yeah, the other guy was the one with the shaved head.
On the sides he had the long hair, but the sides of his head was shaved. Yeah. So me and Nate got that one correct, and Bobby failed on that one. So looks like Nate is probably going to win this, but we'll see here. Sean Vincent,
the whole night.
Don't rub it in yet. Sean Vincent versus Night Train Gary Jackson.
I think we all went for Sean, didn't we?
You know what? We all went with Sean. No, you and Bobby went with Sean. I went with Gary. Well, Gary was a tag team partner of mine, and we partnered for almost a good year and a half. We were known as the Texas Night Trains, kind of just a combination of our names, and we won the tag team straps with it, being a tag team, and we recently lost those to the LA Hustlers. I don't know. You probably seen them at the Fan Fest. Did you stay for the wrestling show at the Fan Fest?
Yeah.
Okay, so I know they were in the Rumble. They were on the same team as the guy I wrestled last night, Joe Helms. It was a 6-man tag that night. And after the match, Joe Helms and the Hustlers kind of got pissed at each other and almost went at it themselves. But that team is the team that me and Gary lost our belts to. And it didn't take long for them to lose it too. We've probably had those belts a good 6 months. But the Hustlers, their very first title defense, they lost it to Bob Orton and Tony Atlas. So those are our current tag champions right now, is Bob Orton Jr. and Tony Atlas, two legends.
Yeah, but you look at Tony. Tony's still built better than most.
Yeah.
I gotta call him up and thank him because he did a drawing for me.
Oh yeah, that's right. I think Herb posted a picture of that drawing. Nate will have to put that in there in this. But he is one hell of an artist because he's drawn a bunch of pictures over the years. Because I wrestled Tony maybe 5 years ago, 6 years ago, I think it was. Great guy. Even then he was bringing in pictures. I think he did a picture of Bruiser Brody for Herb one year. Great guy. So somehow Sean Vincent was able to pull it off last night. He was able to load the boot. Sean has had this loaded boot for a good couple months, so I have no idea why no one ever checks this boot. For the foreign object or whatever he puts in there that he's able to, but he's not, he's took the Central States from our own Bobby D, because Bobby D was once the Central States champion, plus the Bruiser Brody Battle Royal champion. Mm-hmm. But Sean was able to do one up on Bobby one time and got the belt. But I heard that you will get a rematch coming up against him, so that's we'll be looking forward to that. I don't know what month it'll be, but Bobby will get a another rematch and hopefully be able to reclaim that Central States belt.
Yeah, because
Will
I
be playing in
need
Central States.
both gold straps behind you guys.
Mine is right here, so I don't
You
know
got to
if it's in
match
the
mine
picture too
right here.
good.
I got a gold cup.
Yeah, the
Gold
cup,
Cup
right?
will work.
Gold shield I wear on my chest.
There you
There
go.
you go.
He's got
We
the
all
epi
got it.
cutter.
All right, so Bobby and let's see here, Bobby and Nick got that. Man, I am not doing good at all. I've only got one match right. Let's see. So that was Curtis. Oh, Glenn Williams versus Brandon Beretta. I think. Oh no, I got you.
No, we all took Brandon.
Yeah, we all took Brandon. Brandon Beretta. Well, Glenn Williams is also. They're both trainees of mine, and they've been kind of having a battle against each other. Well, Bobby's been having a battle too with Glenn Williams, but Glenn used to be a great guy, up and up, but then he started getting involved with Sean Vincent, and then becoming a little heelish tendencies, and now he's just full blown heel. So
He went
it's
from American to Canadian, so
Yeah,
right.
there's
He
got to be
jumped
a
ship.
problem
He's one of
there.
those guys.
well, he was on talking smack about me before the event.
Oh yes, did you see that?
Yeah, I saw that. I wanted to chime in so bad and say, you know what, that scar you had is a BB gun scar. It's not like what I have.
So here's your stage, Pat. Talk some smack. Give it back to
I am
Glenn.
talking smack. I'll serve him a pancake dinner once my arm gets better.
Oh, that's awesome. I'll have to tell him that if he doesn't see this. Well, I'll see him Thursday night for practice, so I'll have to yell at him about that. Because yeah, I thought that was pretty hilarious that he was talking about I want half of everything we do for him because I was shot too. But I really just want a pancake breakfast. It's like, okay, pancake breakfast. But yeah, so we all had Brandon Beretta. I kind of made fun of Brandon Beretta backstage though because you know he has this thing when he first gets into the ring. He does like he's got a machine gun, but his name is Brandon Beretta, and a Beretta he can't. Maybe it was like poo 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 poo, But other than that, he's
So I can show him what a Bretta is.
right. But he's a great kid. I think he's got. I think he's probably going to go somewhere in the future of this business. And we have a WWE scout coming to the show next Saturday.
Really?
So hopefully, some of my new guys or my trainees, I
Hey,
myself,
Bobby.
my body is broken down, and I'm too old in the game, as they say, because I'm above 40, and Vince McMahon or Triple H, they like guys in their 20s or in their 30s. Once you reach my age, they're like, you're just too old. And I understand because my body is broken down. It's not the top shape anymore. But
Yeah, but Bobby's primed.
yeah, Bobby's in his prime, so this will work out for him too. So
Yep.
anytime we can have someone come out and watch the matches and critique them and say, this is what I'm looking for versus this, so we kind of can help steer the new guys towards that direction. It's just going to be better off for them. So to have that next week, that'll be a great show for you to come back to because everyone's probably going to be on their A game. Not that we weren't Saturday. But you know how it is when you got someone who can make you rich in a matter of seconds just by saying "I want you." You seem to have a little bit more deep down that you can pull out and
Kind of
do
like
some
the
stuff
wrestling
with.
draft.
Right. So yeah, where were we? So yeah, Brandon Beretta. So everyone got that one, so that was cool. Bobby versus the intern. I know you really weren't looking towards that match. How that match ended? Because I wasn't able to catch that one. How were you able to pull off the victory?
Well, I mean, he's a big, strong guy. You know, there was a little bit back and forth throughout the match, but long story short, I hit some big throws on him throughout and weakened up his back and legs a little bit, and then threw on that Scorpion Deathlock and submitted him right there in the middle.
Oh yeah, tapped out.
Oh, you
I
tapped
could
him
hear
out?
him.
That is crazy.
I
Well,
heard him crying back where I was at.
anytime I can hurt a Canadian, I'm happy. So.
Yeah.
That is awesome. All right, so we all voted for Bobby, so we all got our wishes there. So the next one was mine, the Big Texan versus Joe Helms. I think we all voted for me. I'm pretty sure we all voted for me, right?
Yes, we
I know
did.
you voted for you.
yeah, I voted for myself. Yeah, I think it was a pretty good match. I probably could have went a little bit. Well, the match could have went a little longer, but Attila during that FanFest show, I lariated Attila probably about 4 or 5 times before I was able to seal the deal on that one. But that had special stipulations and all that. I was really shocked that I was able to get Joe down so quickly, right with the first lariat. I thought him being a big guy, ex-football player, because, well, he was an extra arena ball player for Tennessee. So if you see him up close, like his whole upper chest area is built like he could have been a weightlifter or something. And most of the time when they have this big old chest, you have to really put it in there to knock them out, or to seal the deal. And I was able to seal the deal on that one. So, but it was a fun match. Yeah, fun match. I was able to go outside and play with them on the tables, and I was hoping to get a chair because I was going to pop him a couple times, but I wasn't too sure if I would get disqualified. That was my first title defense because that was the first time I wrestled since I won it off of Attila, and I didn't want to get disqualified in my first match, but it was a very good match. I was happy with it.
It had a great ending.
Yeah. I appreciate
close up views.
Yeah, I think he cracked the concrete with that clothesline.
That is awesome. I didn't think I was going to have enough time, literally, I wear an elbow pad on that arm until it's ready for me to do the lariat. And I didn't think I was going to have enough time for him to turn around, me take that elbow pad, and then get it. But timing was right, and I was able to connect pretty good. So it was pretty awesome. Brings us down to our last match, the cage match. Pat, have you seen any cage matches before?
I have. I've seen.
How'd you like the cage match between Flash Flanagan and Purple Haze?
Seen a couple of them.
How'd you like the match last night? Oh,
I thought that was awesome. Yeah.
okay, there we go.
I didn't know who each one of them were, but yeah. I met Andrew before the match. He seemed like a pretty decent guy. I didn't know the other guy.
So both of them have been around the block. So they've both been in like the WCW. Flash has been in like WWE as well. He was big in Puerto Rico. He is from Indiana, so he still wrestles mainly down in that area, Indiana, Kentucky. But Herb has been bringing him up, so he's been wrestling with us for a while. And the last time those two had a match, Anderson busted Flash open pretty good. So Well, matter of fact, Anderson was busted open pretty good too that time. So, but the funny thing is, if you want to say it's funny, Kevin Sullivan brought a gas can to the ring last time and poured it all over Flash, and Anderson was trying to light a lighter and actually light him on fire that night.
Oh,
Right. Again, talking about how I would never be able to shoot a person. Well, I don't think I'll be able to put a person on fire either. But you know,
takes a sadistic person, that's for sure.
right. And I guess that's probably what they were going for. But and that's why they brought him back into a cage match and kind of settle the score. Now, this is the only match I was not able to watch any of it. So I'm going to rely on you three. How was that match? Was it crazy, or how'd you guys like it?
I saw the beginning of it was crazy. There was no rhyme or reason. They were just swinging for the fences. I had to step out for a minute, and then I missed the rest of it.
Well, what'd you
I
think
thought
of
it
it,
was
Pat?
I thought it was a little short. It only lasted like 10 minutes. I mean, if that's supposed to be a main event, you know, they could have did a little bit more.
Yeah.
But it was pretty good. I mean, the match itself was pretty good.
Nate, what'd you think?
I missed most of it because it was only 6 minutes long. And it was that whole time when I was filming, I was trying to connect information between Pat, me, and you, Jim, and get it all sent out because I wanted to make sure we had it set for tonight for Pat to come on and to get the time. And by the time I had all that done, the match was over.
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
I
So for
agree.
me to be able to watch it, I'm going to have to watch the footage to watch the match again. And then the part I did see, there wasn't enough blood in a cage match. You need blood. I
Oh.
just didn't see it.
I think you're missing the
Oh,
tone.
it's horrible. I was changing when that match was going on, and I heard them call out 5 minutes down. I couldn't remember how many minutes left. And I was like, wow, okay, that's going by quick. And, you're just changing your clothes. And then I heard the bell ring. I was like, oh, wait a minute here. And I said, that only had to be about 6 minutes. And then I hear them call out, the match ended in 6 minutes and so many seconds. I was like, wow. That was supposed to be the main event. I thought for sure it would have been longer than that. But, if you can get the job done, you can get the job done. So evidently Flash got the job done in 6 minutes. So it's kind of crazy. I would have had fun in there. I would have played it out a little bit more, used every single square of that cage, possible. But that's just me. Bobby's the same way. When you're ever in a cage match, you want to have fun, because it doesn't happen, too often.
I've only been in like two
Use
that I can think of.
right. They use those cage matches like to settle a feud that's been going on forever. So when you get that opportunity to be in one, you want to take full advantage and use everything you can. Not that you want to stretch it out or anything, but you take pride in your work, so you want to give the fans, something to go home and think about. Like, damn, that was a great match.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would disagree on the stretching it out because with the settling feud, you usually want to inflict a little bit more pain than just winning the match.
That's true.
So
Yeah, you
there's a
always want
personal level to it.
right. Well, I mean, if Flash was happy with the match and he was able to get it over in 6 minutes, more power to him. So, gotta
I
give
don't
him
know.
that at least.
After the match, they took off so quick. Didn't even get to talk to him much after that to even get what he thought of the match. Man, he was out the door.
Yeah.
He was quick. I know they had to get to work, but I mean, dang. Usually they hang out a little bit longer, but
Right. Well, I know Kevin had an early flight this morning, but I know Anderson left this afternoon. So I'm sure they I'm sure there was an establishment last night that was probably open later than it should have been, and they probably had a few guest stars that night. That's what I'll probably say.
All
I
I
myself,
know is there were some dollar bills missing. That's all I'm going to say.
well, as long as you had a great night, Pat, and we were able to help you out, that's all that matters. Did you have a lot of friends show up and meet you
Yeah.
there?
Oh, pretty much everybody at the tables were my friends.
No, that's cool.
The one that you slammed Joe on, I didn't know who they were, but we got to talking to some of them while we're there. I met a lot of great people there. People come up and talk to me and explain their wrestling experiences. It was a really good night. I had a lot of fun.
No, then that's all needs to be said. So I hope we can help you out. Hopefully this ain't the end of it. Hopefully we can help you out in the future. And if you get that, if someone sets up that GoFundMe, well, happy to put that in our description and try to get some more coming your way. Anytime, anytime we can back. Last time we did this, it was for the Chief LaPont, I think was his name.
Yep.
A firefighter. Anytime we can help someone in that nature, boys in blue, even the volunteers. I work for the 911 center. Is my day job, so I hear a lot of the phone calls that you guys deal with. And I talked, a lot of people don't think about it, but the operators too, they bring that stuff home with them as well. One of them was when I first started a couple of years ago. They were telling me about he had to teach a lady how to do CPR to her child over the phone, and she wasn't getting it, and it didn't have the happy ending that he wanted. And he said that he brought that home with him for weeks before he can let that go, and you can tell he still didn't let it go because it was pretty fresh when he was talking to me about it. So anyone that's on that side, more power to you guys, because you guys do this day in and day out. And even after you've been shot a few times, that's what you've been talking about is going back. And to me, that's crazy, but man, I love you for it. Guys like you help get a better reputation going. You got those ones that unfortunately, when you have a bad reputation on a certain cop, they get elevated where it's now on the news 24 hours, and that's all you hear. But you never hear about the good situations or the good cops. They never seem to put that on the news as much. You hear all the negative, never really the positives.
It's not newsworthy.
Nope.
So I'm glad that you're on our side. We'll back you and everyone behind that shield, and all the firemen, the volunteers, first responders. Man, you guys are awesome in our books. So,
Yep.
And yeah, if you ever need any help or you need any wrestlers to come, just call us. We'll be first on the scene. We'll take them down. Maybe if you could show me a Beretta too, that'd be nice. No.
It's not a Brandon Beretta.
I can tell you better.
But yeah, we try to keep our podcast about an hour, so we were right at that threshold, a little bit over. But we always talk in the beginning, so this is fine. But I really, seriously, glad you had a great time. Glad your grandchild had a great time. Hope that you come back next Saturday or come back to a future show. I hope we have you for life. So that's but I think for all of us, I want to say thank you for coming on. We appreciate you coming on. For everyone who's going to watch this in the near future, please always like, subscribe, share, comment. It helps us know what you guys want. Because we've had some famous people come on, and we've had some local legends come on, and having you on, you're going to be our local legend too. So we'll put you in that category. But I'd say so everyone from the Square Ring podcast, I want to cut you off and say thank you for coming on, and you guys have a great night, and we'll see this come on Thursday. And if you guys have any comments, let us know. Put them in the comment section. We'll reach back out to Pat if you have any comments about him, or if you want to donate to his fund. We'll make sure we have that link on there. But on that, thank you for being on, sir. Thank you for giving us an hour of your time, and hopefully we'll see you at the next show.
Absolutely, yeah. Thank
Appreciate
you
you,
guys
Pat.
for that. A lot of fun.
Yes. All right, man. Well, you have the weekend's almost over, so I was going to say you have a great night, and we'll talk to you in the future. Okay.
You guys too. Thank you very
Hope to
much.
see you
All
around,
right, sir.
Sergeant Pat.